by our speaker, CA Nilesh Joshi. I'll request Ankush sir to escort our speaker on the dais. As we all know, we have smartphones, but ultimately, how smartly we are using it. Again, similarly, in audit standpoint also, how smart audits we can do using IT. We'll get this insights from our speaker today. With this, I'll request our coordinator, C. Ankush Gupta, to introduce about our faculty.
Thank you, Nikita. CA Nilesh Joshi, he has provided consultancy to client CFOs in India and abroad in respect to budgeting, taxation, account closure, monitoring budget, etc. He has also conducted a special audit for RBI of a public sector bank with special emphasis on inter-office accounts. He has also conducted special investigation for SEBI of mutual fund schemes. He has conducted forensic audit for stock exchange. So friends, he is well knowledge with all the different fields like mutual fund, stock exchange. So apt for the closure of the session. So with this short introduction, I request everyone to please welcome him with a huge round of applause. And of course, before starting the session, I would request our dynamic chairman, Ketan Bhai, to please come forward and present a memento.
Nilesh is one more very dear friend, and he's like a neighbor. We stay in the same lane at Jogeshwari. So Nilesh bhai, thank you so much. I think this is of course last but not least most important session in the entire 2 days seminar on bank audit. If you do not know the system or if you do not have those tools, I think we are handicapped. Having technical knowledge on LFAR, advances, forex, all those area, NPA is must. But without this session or without knowing IT, I don't think you will able to complete the bank branch audit or any other bank audit for that matter. So to my mind, most important session to be given by Nilesh, and he is kind again to always being supportive to Western India Regional Council. Nilesh bhai, once again, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and coming over to WRC as and when we request. Thank you.
Ketan bhai just told that we are neighbors, staying in same lane, but frankly we have met maximum time in the WRC only and in Jogeshwar only once. Because most of the time post becoming chairman, I think he stays only in BKC. So we will start with a session. So it is about smart audit using IT. Now we all are using, like what Nikita said, that we all are using smartphone. So how much smartly we are using it, that is a big question. And while using it, how much data of ourselves we are sharing with the people, that is another question. And people is, we don't know who are the people who are watching us, who are taking our data and using it for their own benefit. So if you see, when we are using smartphones, actually, are we using it or we are allowing someone to use ourselves for their benefits? That we need to actually understand, because we have become a product. Because when you see an Instagram reel or YouTube reel, actually you are wasting your time, but at the same time someone is earning based on that. So we have to be more careful, vigilant while using the smartphones. But while doing audit, we need to take help of technology. And frankly, the way what we are seeing today's technology or benefits, technical benefits, or the banks are moving ahead, if you see now, the banks are not only what is the lending institution, they have become kind of a fintech. Now, almost all of us use UPI for our regular day-to-day transaction. Even if we go to buy sabji, we ask sabji wala chutta hai kya nahi, to UPI se karta hu. That's where we have come. So even if you don't carry a cash in our pocket, then also we can travel in Mumbai easily, rather in all tier 2, tier 3 cities easily. Travel, you can buy your regular day-to-day item. So we have now, our life is also kind of engulfed with the technology. So when we are doing audit, we cannot avoid technology the way it is developing. This is such a snapshot where which bank is using which software. So Infosys has developed a software called Finacle, which is used by most of the banks, mainly Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, India IOB, PNB, PSB, that is Punjab National Bank, UCO Bank, and UN Bank. So those who are doing audit of these banks, these 7 banks, they need to have understanding how the Finacle works. Then what are the commands which are available in Finacle, so that we can generate certain reports. Then there is a TCS Bank software that is used by SBI, which is the largest bank. So if you go by the number of the banks, it is Finacle. But if you go by the branches account, it is banks. TCS Banks is used maximum in India. So SBI, Central Bank of India, Indian Bank, and Bank of Maharashtra uses TCS Banks, and FlexCube is used by only Canara Bank. The importance of this core banking software, you can identify when these banks got merged, like Vijaya Bank got merged with Union Bank, or Andhra Bank got merged with Union Bank, or OBC got merged with PNB. The one of the major criteria which government has said kept is the commonness of the CBS application. So the banks which are using same CBS application are being merged together, because it is easier to merge those banks. So that kind of importance the CBS softwares we have today. So when everything is going towards technology, whether are we using technology in our audit, that is important point. So what we have tried to do, we have backtracked the LFR observations to the what kind of a reports available with the in the softwares, in all these 3 softwares. So when you start a bank branch audit, first you have to identify, based on this slide, which everyone will have, which software the bank is using. You can do little search on the Google, which will give you the commands, which are common commands which can be used for this in this software from an auditor perspective. Because what happens that most of the time the bank managers or bank officials have right for generating lot of reports, which we in our auditor domain or auditor user ID is not provided. So we need to understand what rights they have given to us, which reports can be generated. And once we understand that, then we have to kind of analyze those reports for reporting. So like for sanctions and reviews, what we can do, we normally in traditional audit, we go to the branch as top 20, top 100 accounts, then now 10% of the total advances, fund base plus non-fund base, and below for the process audit. So what we can ask them, you just ask them the advance dump report. In various bank, various names are given for this report. In Bank of India, it is called CCIS. In Central Bank, it is called Total Loan Report or some other name. Or in Bank of Baroda, it is called Large Loan Detail Report, something like that. So first you ask the branch manager whether that this report is available, and ask him to send it to you. If he doesn't send it to you by email, you ask him, you provide a computer of yourself, which will be available with us for 8 days, and we will use that computer for the purpose of analyzing our data. So like that, but most of the branch managers agrees to this, because we have signed a confidential arrangement with them, and you see that the data is kept confidential. So don't share that report to everyone in the office. Keep it with 1 or 2 kind of laptops which you have, so that you can access that report, and that report will be very useful, which will give you detailed understanding about the branch. So you analyze that report, you will get a detailed understanding of what type of branch it is on the advances side, basically, whether it is a retail advance branch, it is a small, large branch, or it is a mid-sized branch, how much sampling you need to be done on the basis of the requirement of the LFR, also once you do that, you have to report which samples you have selected. So how we can select the sample? So we will come to the level where how we can do a scientific sampling based on these reports. Then what kind of exceptional reports generated by the bank's data center, which are available with the branch manager, because at least once a week, and in many banks, every day he has to certify, kind of a sign off those reports. So he gets only exceptional reports. So those exceptional reports you should identify. Then advances sanctioned and renewed, restructured during the period under audit, that you should get, that you can get from this main report only, because it gives the last reviewed or last renewed date. Then for IRAC and advanced monitoring of LFAR, advances overdue report is available with all banks. So what you can do, you can actually take overdue reports or SMA reports from the bank. You can take overdue report for various days, just apply, put it in Excel, means those reports are available in text format, convert it in Excel, apply VLOOKUP on those reports. You will come to know how it has been moved over the period, maybe a 6 months or a year kind of a scenario. So like similarly, you take a SMA report and put that SMA report in Excel, which is already available, and do a VLOOKUP account wise. You will come to know that which account is moving from SMA 1 to SMA 2 criteria, or SMA 2 to SMA 1 again. Once we do that, you will come to know that at the fag end of, let's say, March, certain accounts are suddenly coming out of SMA, or certain accounts are suddenly getting upgraded from SMA 2 to SMA, or SMA 3 to SMA 1. Not SMA 3, sorry, SMA 2 to SMA 1, or SMA 1 to SMA 0. You can put those accounts as kind of a red flag, and you can use those accounts for sampling of your monitoring, that how these accounts have been recovered. So some account is, let's say, in SMA 2, and when you do a VLOOKUP, you realize those accounts on the 19th, let's say on the March, has gone out of SMA 2. Then you will able to analyze, that becomes your sample, and that sample you will able to analyze how the money has been recovered. So then you can go to the respective CBS, and after going to respective CBS, you can actually check that how the money has been recovered. So money has been come from which account. Then there are certain reports. These are what commands are given are of Finacle, because most of the banks are using Finacle. Loan statement of accounts you will able to do generate from HAC LINQ. Limit tree report, this is a report where custody level limits made available, so that you can generate from HLAOP. Then statement of account for CCOD you can generate from again HAC LINQ. Ad hoc limit sanction you can register. These are the register where ad hoc limit sanction and when they have been closed, that has been given. So you can check whether ad hoc limits have been sanctioned to an account on regular basis and how those have been closed. That you can get from HSC TODM. And then if in the system it is mentioned that details restructured flag needs to be a mark, and a branch has properly flagged that is yes, you can get a report called details of restructure accounts. Then there are reports related to deposits opened and closed. Then there is a deposit dump report along with risk classification of the customer, where you can check interest in case of a term deposit. If you want to check the interest, you can check the interest calculation on sample basis. Similarly, with the report related to advance dump report, you can actually check the interest on sample basis. Then dormant account details. This is very important because we have to report in an LFAR. So when a dormant account gets transferred to operative, how we can do it, that can be done. Then cash register, we have to identify excess cash or any anomaly, and again excess cash during the period. So this cash register in software or Excel, or the system has to match with the cash register physical, so that you can check. Then these are the reports which are specifically can be used directly copied to the LFAR, that is excess cash report, unresponded open cash transaction report, accounts marked as NPA during the year to check the date of first sanction of such accounts for reporting it as part of a quick mortality or account which has become NPA within 1 year from the date of sanction. Limit expired but not renewed. So once you get that report, CCI is kind of a report, loan detail report, you can get the limit expired. Drawing power register, then SM report I have already discussed, and details of LCs devolved during the year. This report also you can directly use for LFAR. So this then again there are reports like details of BGs invoke, dormant to operative, then interest calculation. So there is a report of interest calculation for advances. Similarly, there is a report of interest failed report. So you should ask branch that whether you have got any communication from the HO about an interest failure report or interest failure in any of the account, then please give that. when you analyze that CCIS or total run report, you will also can check ROI. So if in any account, if ROI is 0 or ROI is less than the sanction limit, you can actually flag that and show that there is a revenue leakage. Then there is report on amortization of bank guarantee commission. When we actually get this report, we realize that, and we compare with the sanction letter, we realize that there is an error in amortization because banks software may not be configured properly to amortize the commission which has been received upfront. And we have last year we have got an error where we have proved that when guarantees are getting renewed in some of the case in some Finacle actually software, it is not calculating amortization correctly from the date of renewal, rather it is calculating from the date of initial issuance. So please check that. Then exception report from CBS or other software used in finalization. And second is unresponded open transaction report for inter-branch adjustment. Nowadays we are in CBS, but still certain banks has this report available, so please check these reports. So what we have tried this year, this is again an kind of a something under implementation. We have tried to use AI with respect to doing audit of bank branch, and the results are I will say it is 80% successful. Why not 100%? Because AI is something where we need to teach the machine also. So currently what we observe that AI is kind of a gathering information and providing it to us. But at the same time, there are certain tweaking needs to be done with respect to how we use AI. So when we have tried it, what we have tried, I will tell you conceptually. And if internet works, I will try to show you also here. So conceptually what we have tried, what happens that most of the time when we try to analyze, analyze any report, our most of the time goes in constructing a data or constructing a query language. Whether it is for Excel, we are chartered account, we are not software developer, we are not coders. So in case of a Excel, IDEA or any other tool, when we try to use a query language, what happens that we need to do iterations of the queries, because when we do it, we find that our query is going wrong. So what we have done that we have actually used ChatGPT to ask what kind of a formula we can do in Excel or IDEA or Power BI. So what is our experience is that Copilot gives good formula for Power BI, because I think it might be from the same company, Microsoft. But when we use ChatGPT or some other tools like Claude, we found that they are also giving good formula, and that not only for Power BI but also for the Excel. So we have actually put something like we have told guide me on the bank branch audit. This is just a kind of a refresher with Excel formulas. So it gives answers, and these answers are 80% correct. So actually instead of wasting or spending, I will not say wasting, but wasting or spending our time in actually constructing a query for Excel or kind of or IDEA, whatever tool we use, you can ask them. So like this, it says that NPA classification as of date, last credit date. So how to do that? So it says if write-off flag is yes, make it loss. Overdue is 90, then is less than 90, then standard. Overdue is more than 365, less than 90, then 3 substandard. Like that, it gives a formula for IRAC also. It also gives formula for interest calculation. This is a simple interest calculation. Then it gives formula for compound interest calculation. It also gives, if you want to check the EMI, then it also gives formula for EMI. If we want to do some random sampling, what formula is there in Excel for random sampling. Then large credit transaction. So once you have the cash register report, it gives formula. If cash transaction is more than 50,000, then we need to put a review, means in that column it will give review, otherwise it will give okay. If you want to see any transaction which is backdated or future dated, so kind of we talk about value dated transaction. So if you take a daily transaction report for a day, it gives how to calculate, how to check whether any transaction is value dated or backdated. So any transactions on weekend or holidays. Then it also talks about aging analysis, that's okay. So also it talks about how to identify more than 90 days in inter-office account. So if we apply this, what will happen is that we will, whatever the bigger problem what will lie is, this is the time which we have, time constraint which we have while conducting branch audit. So we can overcome that with applying certain use of ChatGPT or Claude. Our experience is that Claude and ChatGPT gives Claude gives better kind of output. So what we have done, that we have tried, because I was not sure whether it will net is available here or not, or how the connectivity will be. So we have actually put certain data structure with respect to, or certain formulas with respect generated from ChatGPT for NP identification. So like this is a ChatGPT for NP identification. This is a basic NP identification which should be done. So what it says that if I want to do a NP identification, give me a formula for Excel or IDEA. Excel you can use when data is small and manageable. IDEA tool you can use when data is on the larger size, it make it faster, or it kind of analyze faster. So it A2 is the column which gives the kind of overdue dates, what we call DPD in C. So if you can just copy paste this formula in Excel, you will able to identify whether whether an account is a substandard, doubtful 1, doubtful 2, or loss asset. Similarly, in case of a cash credit account, it also gives, and nothing has been, frankly, in terms of principle or RBI circular, nothing has been fed by us to the system. We have told that I want a formula based on this. Once we get that formula, we can tweak the formula, because we found that there are certain errors with respect of dates calculation. So dates calculation, we are aware if it is 146 day or which the column we are taking. What is very important in case of using AI, what we have observed is that we need to tell it properly. So it gives a result how we tell it, because if I give a command and my article give a command, it gives different results. So we need to identify that how we can get best extra from the AI is that how we are able to give the command. So we should able to give the command, then it gives a better results. So like in this case, cash credit being out of order, we have said that assume the following column: A2 is outstanding balance, B2 is equal to sanction limit, C2 is days overdue, D2 is total credits in last 90 days, and E2 is interest and charges. These columns are what we have already seen in the reports which we have, and these are already available. So once we put it in the ChatGPT or Claude, it gives a formula that if this is the case, then that account is out of order or regular. Once that account is out of order, we have to go and check whether the account is NPA or not. So it reduces, our estimate is that it will reduce a day of constructing. If we are using an audit tool like Excel or IDEA, it will reduce our 1 day of extra constructing these queries. Similarly, this is for asset provisioning. So it also gives asset provisioning, and it goes to the, once we start working on it, initially it gives something which gives only the percentage like 15, 25, 40. But when we told them what is the column in secured, what is the amount in unsecured, how to calculate unsecured, then it has actually given the whole calculation how to calculate provision. So then you need not have to actually bother about whether our formula is correct or not. You can just paste this formula in Excel, it will give a provision. Then you have to just match with the data which has been provided by the bank. Here, what is assumed is that you have already completed your groundwork related to whether the valuation report is available, whether the date of valuation report is correct. See, it is working on the data. It is not going and checking the data because data is not available. There are one view which has been taken, that whether we can, someone asking whether we can put the whole file in the chat GPT, upload it, and we can say now give me a result of what is about all these accounts. Our personal, rather my personal view is that it is not advisable, because that data is very confidential. Bank has given it to us as we have been bound by the confidentiality letter with them. So that is a data of certain borrowers with some banks even they give PAN or GST or CG PAN numbers. So when they give those numbers, it is not proper to share those numbers. So better upload a sample file in chat GPT based on changing the name and figures, and ask it kindly give me a formula about this. Once it gives the formula, paste it in your Excel or idea, any tool which you have. Once you do that, your work of analyzing, massaging data by doing VLOOKUP, by doing kind of a filtering, everything will go away, and you will get a result which is 80 to 90% accurate. So it also gives, when we ask security erosion by 50%, it also gives if it is more than 0.5%, then if it is less than 0.5% security erosion as compared to the previous valuation, then it will be substandard. Sorry, more than, then it is doubtful. If it is more than, less than, then it is substandard. Similarly, it gives that if stock shipment date is available in the system, then it compares stock shipment date with the today's date. So you will be doing on 31st March. So you have to give the date 31st March. So if it is more than 90 days, then it says that it is, if it is more than 90 days, it says that it is a kind of a SMA 0 and irregular. Then you have to check and see whether actually really stock shipments are not available or branch has not fed it. So just if it is giving irregular, then don't rely on that. Because what happens that branch might have the stock shipment, they might not have fed it. So whether the stock shipment are available, so you can do a sampling which is more effective. So it will save over time. What happens that we go on checking on various data or various samples even just randomly. So to avoid that randomness, and tomorrow if any regulator comes and on what basis you have carried out a sampling, you can say my sampling is a scientific sampling based on these steps which I have made or I have used. So you need not tell we have used chat GPT for that or cloud for that. You can say these are the steps which have been used for the scientific sampling. So when there is a security erosion which is more than 90%, it gives that, it directly gives that it is loss asset or it is a standard asset. Identifying potential money laundering transactions. So cash deposit is more than 3 lakhs, foreign transaction. So once you get the data, understand that data, how the columns are structured, apply that to chat GPT or Claude, and then you can get this formula which you can easily use. Now we will move to certain Excel functions which can be used handy. So certain functions are like which can be used are subtotal, sumif, sumifs, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index, match, and financial like payment IRR if you want to calculate. These all our functions are available in the Excel. Also for subtotal, you can have there are YouTube videos available how to use subtotal. So what we have observed that while doing kind of identifying one borrower with various customer ID, we normally use pivot. But what we observe that summarization is a better tool than pivot, because it gives, as you open or click on the plus signs, it gives the which accounts have been considered in that specific custody and what is the amount or what is the value. Because at times what happens that, let's say a housing loan is given and also credit card is given. Now both accounts have become NPA, or a personal loan is given and housing loan is given. Now both accounts have become NPA. So what banks are doing is that banks are directly applying the security value in the housing loan to the personal loan account, and also they are telling that this is what kind of a general lien we have on the housing loan, So but then we proved by doing a data massaging, we said that your personal loan is also applicable, you have considered your security value. So let's say housing loan is of 1 lakh, personal loan is of 1 lakh rupees, housing loan is of 40 lakhs rupees, and the security value is only 40 lakhs. Security value is 50 lakhs. What they have done that 50 lakhs they have appropriated 1 lakh to the personal loan and 49 lakhs to the housing loan, saying that my personal loan is also secured. And initially when they have classified it, they have said that it is a 20% because it is unsecured by ab initio. So we have to also take previous year data, how they have classified it, and current year data. So when we are starting classifying it as substandard in previous year as ab initio, now you cannot apply the housing loan with the personal loan. But how you will identify that? Sorry. That can be identified only by doing data massaging, and these tools you can use. Like SumIf is used for sums the value of range that meet criteria that you specify. SumIf is used for adds all its argument that meet multiple criteria. Then we everyone use the another important tool is HLOOKUP, which is used for the horizontal array. At times we get certain data is in horizontal format, so HLOOKUP is used for horizontal array. In VLOOKUP is used for vertical array. Similarly, index is returns a value or reference to a value from within table or range. Match searches for a specified atom in a range on cells and then returns the relative position that atom in the range. I will try to play a video if it is possible for if, because this is the test where we use maximum time. So voice could not be connected because it is not aux connected, but कैसे ले लेगा? देखो. This is just how these the videos which are available, these are kind of a educational purpose. We can use it, we can learn it. So actually it will be easier for us to actually use the formulas, and this is not a case where we are only using it for the bank bank branch audit. We can use this in case of a tally also when we are doing regular tax audit or SAP based any tool. Actually when it gives, once it is something is getting converted into IDEA, Excel, Power BI or any other software, these tools of ChatGPT, Claude or Excel are very useful to massage the large data. So day before, some days back, rather last week, there was a interaction with RBI for statutory central auditors arranged by PDC, and during that interaction the ED of RBI told that now even RBI is moving towards a kind of auditing where it is from sample based to 100% or population based audit. So when RBI is using IDEA tool, what kind of questions as an auditor we can get from that we can anticipate by using these tools. So if you want to calculate, so these are various Excel based commands which are available. Now we will move to this is very important where we can get commands from the Finacle. So one is if you want to check the average cash holding and cash in excess retention, Does objective dates on which cash balance is more than retention limit. HCBR is a command for Finacle 10, and certain banks are still using Finacle 7, some cooperative banks. Then CBR is the command. From new accounts opened during the year, then HSP is the command for Finacle 10. So more important commands which we are required: check overdraft accounts of customers. In case of TOD, that will be HSCOD. And these all commands which are important, which are available in our auditor ID. Then there is a command if loans overdue. HLAOP is a command which will give the which accounts are overdue. Then for asset classification, we need to understand how the asset classification or security has been configured by the branch. So there are two things which are there. One is called a limit level security mapping, and other is account level security mapping. Ideally, banks should do a limit level security mapping. But what happens that branches sometimes do a security mapping which is account level. So what happens that when a Excel is generated or when a system generates IRAC automation directly, it doesn't capture the security which is already available. Then what they have to do, they have to do a manual intervention in those scenarios. So we have to check whether in the system the branch is aware what is limit level security mapping and what is account level security mapping. So if limit level security mapping is available, this HSET code will run, will give correct report. If the account level security mapping is there, then this report will not give or give the output which is required. Then check TDS reduction. There is a HS TDS IP, and this is very important with respect to the 15H. So what happens that when we generate a deposit dump, we need to identify which accounts are where the people have submitted 15H, whether it has been updated in the system. What happens that sometimes the bank, customer submit 15H, bank doesn't update in the system, and because of that tax get deducted. So we need to check that. We need to ask from them that आपने 15H किन से client से लिया तो फिर वो file दे देते हैं. On sample basis, you check whether from the report itself that how many clients they have not submitted the 15H, and they have marked as no 15H, mainly in case of a senior citizen. And once you identify, you will realize that many clients have submitted, it is already in the file, and bank has deducted tax unnecessarily. So that can be reported in your tax audit returns wherever required, or even LFR, because it is an internal control issue that customer has submitted something and it is not updated in the system. Then to check the movement of interest, this is very important with respect to what happens that when we land in the bank, on let's say 31st March, means post 31st March, maybe 2nd April, 3rd April, and that time there could be now in this year there is a reduction in rate of interest. So we don't know whether current rate of interest which has been charged or which is appearing in the LAOP is correct or not. For that you can generate a report called HINTMM. This report will give you what is the movement within the rate of interest. So we will come to know in each account or that report will give you how the interest rates have been moved. So we will come to know that whether in between the branch has done mischief and reduce the interest rate of the borrower, because we are not going to check the account or MIS on regular basis on every month about the interest. Then for drawing power calculation, there is a report called HSCLHM. This is very important report because if data is this menu has been incorrectly entered into the system, it will lead to incorrect drawing power and incorrect classification of accounts in out of order status. Then if any loans are restructured, HLARA. Now this is very important that we have to actually use our knowledge, our banking knowledge with the system knowledge, because we all are aware that now restructured accounts are NPA, has to be classified as NPA. The only exceptions are given in case of an agricultural loan where state government announce some scheme, announce some waiver or something like that, or state government says because of some kind of a famine or some kind of a problem, flooding, the account should be restructured. That means there was a discussion happening on crop loan. If I will just go through that, just diverting from the topic, the best way to go understand whether a loan is a crop loan or not is going through the SLBC guideline. So if you are doing an audit of audit where there are crop loans are given or gold loans are given, state level banking committee gives a guideline, and it also says that if the land is of this size as per 7/12 extract, this will be the crop. if taken, then this will be the cost which is required, and this much loan you can give. So once you identify that, you will able to understand whether it is a really crop loan or not. And 7/12 extract in case of on the land which is getting cultivated, even if it is a labor or not, that is required. Otherwise you will not able to check whether the loan given is adequate or not. So coming back to the CBS menus, loan restructure is very important menu. So if any loan is got restructured and has not been classified as NPA, that is your query, that loan has to be classified as NPA and should be given through MOC. So it cannot be mentioned in LFAR or any other report or main report. MOC has to be there, and MOCs are now incorporated by the institute in main audit report. So you have to give a summary of MOCs which you are issuing in the main audit report. Similarly, loan repayment schedule, this is again very important. I will use best example of this. So you can use HLRASH in case of a housing loan. This is what happens in case of housing loan, where housing loans EMI needs to be tweaked based on the change in the rate of interest. So now what happens that if there is all housing loans are now floating rate loans. So what happens that if rate of interest goes down, then your EMI remains constant because your SI has been taken based on when the loan got sanctioned at that point of time. Okay, so it cannot have in that every time bank will come to you when there is a rate change in rate and we collect lesser or more EMI. So what happens that either when there is an increasing rate of interest, your period of loan gets elongated. When there is a decreasing rate of interest, your period of loan gets shortened. Now you have to check by this menu what you have to check by this menu saying that whether there is a change in EMI. So just normal rate of interest change will not lead to EMI change. So if there is a change in EMI, then that means that it is a restructured loan. Once loan is restructured, it needs to be classified as NPA. Downgraded. So repayment schedule, and also we have to check, you generate for 2-3 accounts whether the repayment schedule has been configured properly based on the sanction letter, and you will come to know that whether there is a change in the repayment schedule or they are not configured. उसने 1 साल के लिए configure किया, 2 साल के लिए loan है 5 साल का, but repayment schedule is configured only for the 1 year. वो बोलते हैं बाद में एक बार और कर लेंगे. So if they goes for that kind of scenario, that EMI schedule or repayment schedule will get disturbed. So you have to check that whether repayment schedule has been done for the whole tenure of the loan. If it is not done for the whole tenure of the loan, it will lead to restructuring. And we have come across certain cases where the repayment schedule has been done only for 2 years when loan is for 5 years. Because वो बंदा बोला कि बाद में करता हूँ, मैंने सोचा कि आगे का कोई आएगा, मैं तो ट्रांसफ़र के लिए ड्यू था, अभी मुझे टारगेट था ओपन करने का अकाउंट्स, तो मैंने ओपन कर दिया अकाउंट्स और बाद में वो ट्रांसफ़र के बाद आएगा, उसको बोला था बाद में का तुम डाल देना. That way it should not happen. Second thing, what you have to check in a bank audit when we are talking about a smart audit is that whether user IDs are restricted to a specific branch. So what happens that at times, if an officer in the branch should have access only to the branch related user ID. So he cannot go and change or approve the transaction in other branch. So you have to take a list of the user IDs and you have to check whether they are active and whether they are restricted. So it should not happen that someone sitting in Nariman Point asking someone in Aparavati to approve its transaction. Someone sitting in Nariman Point has to take approval from the officer who is in Nariman Point branch itself. Otherwise what will happen that person doesn't have any document, he will just do a blind approval or verification of the transaction. And in Finacle or any software, both transactions, the transaction has to be approved by the 2 people. So that's what once you enter into the branch, with the first meeting at the branch manager, you should ask for the user IDs of the branch. And if you observe that user IDs of the branch are not restricted, kindly flag it in LFAR. This is very important because this could lead to the fraud. Coming back to the Finacle menu, check turnover in the account. That is HATOR. This is very important because if you see in the renewal cases, the branch itself provide in the appraisal memorandum the turnover in the account. When they provide the turnover in the account, you have to check whether it is correct or not. For that you can use this menu. Also from the turnover you will come to know that whether the that borrower really has the transactions in the account, whether the transactions are according to his business, or he's just giving kind of a transactions or doing the transactions which are not related to the business. Second thing, you can actually do a interest calculation, verify interest applied in only in standard accounts. That gives a HA and TRPT report. This will give you whether interest has been applied to all standard accounts. So if an account become, and if the interest is getting applied to an NPA account, then it needs to be reversed. That interest needs to be reversed, and that is an MOC has to pass, and that interest needs to be reversed from the not a provision. Because बहुत बार क्या होता है, ऑपरेटिंग इनकम को मेंटेन करने के ब्रांच बोलता है हाँ ठीक है, हाँ गलती हो गया है, कुछ सिस्टम ने गलती कर दिया, सिस्टम कोई गलती नहीं करता है, रिवर्स फिर जो आता है वो ये लोग लेट अपडेट करते हैं, तो वो बोलता है कि हाँ ऐसा हो गया तो आप एक काम करो ना, उतना ही कहीं प्रोविजन का एमओसी दे दो. सो ऑटोमेटिकली क्या होता है, वो प्रोविजन का एमओसी उसके इसमें नहीं जाता है, मतलब वो बिलो द लाइन जाता है काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, बिकॉज प्रोविजन ब्रांच लेवल, तो बोलता है प्रोविजन का एमओसी ले लो. बट व्हेन वी फाउंड दैट एनपीए to NPA account, the MOC needs to be given is interest income account debit and not the provision account debit. So we need to check that. Then check inventory held. This is related to FDRs and checkbooks. Then check account transfers between schemes. Verify that movement across scheme is proper. So you can use SSCX, FRSC. Nowadays what has happened, that scheme codes get changed. So when scheme code gets changed, when account become NPA, scheme codes are getting changed. Similarly, in case of you can also use this menu to check whether account is a PCFC account or agri account, because every product has a scheme code. So when you get a circular from them, which is the product for which scheme code is utilized, and apply the VLOOKUP, and then you will come to know there are certain accounts where they have opened accounts which are in wrong scheme code, which is giving benefit like I agree to that account. Then chief office account closed during the period. That menu is HASC ZDB. Then various entries and reversals. Then again office account, this is very important. Long outstanding entries in office account. You can check HMS GOIRP. And if certain menus are not getting activated in your domain or your user ID, you request the branch to kind of apply those menus or apply those commands through their user IDs. But don't take their user IDs and password to do that. Ask them to हमारे सामने report generate करके देना. Then checking the nature of transactions in the account, verification of primary and collateral security, that is for HCLL or HSCLM. Then verification of customer accounts, that is HCU, SUM. This will give you all accounts of that customer in that bank, not in the branch. So when you pass MOC, what happens that most of the time, you actually give MOC because you have a problem with your bank, your branch, but actually it should be done on the customer base, so borrower wise, not facility wise. So there could be some account lying in some other branch of the same borrower. So once you apply this HCU, SUM, you will come to know all the accounts which are available, and you have to give MOC for all the accounts to make NPA, not only for your branch. Otherwise what will happen in certain systems, when it gets uploaded by the SCA, the account which, if it gets uploaded sole wise, it will not be possible for SCA to identify. उसको बैठ के देखना पड़ेगा कि उसका दूसरा account है कि नहीं. तो आप यहाँ से MOC दो, which is correct and complete. Then interest income application. So calculation of interest, you can use HAIT, INQ. And noting of lien, this is very important. You can use the command which is HALM. So you can go to the deposit account, FD, and check HALM command. You will come to know whether the lien has been marked. Also we need to check when the lien has been marked, whether it has been marked against the specific loan. So loan ID or loan account is, let's say, XYZ, and lien is marked for ABC, then the bank cannot apply that lien when the loan becomes NPA. In addition to the these menus discussed earlier, there is a auditors can also use MIS RPT menu. There is a menu called MIS RPT where you can generate various reports. So various reports are available in MIS RPT menu. These reports are in either text or PDF format, and you can download it from the system by using HPR menu. So if you are doing a financial audit, these menus will be adequate for you to carry out a bank branch audit faster. So coupled with these menus and these menus coupled with your regular Excel which you are using, or using ChatGPT, you will able to kind of fastly or speedily complete the branch audit. So these are certain illustrative reports from MIS RPT. So how to generate reports? So we have prepared a slide for this. This is from one of the bank. So you have to go to the MIS RPT menu, and then it will give a kind of a this kind of a options for which you want. So module name is NPA. Once you put the module name, it will give what report you want. Then this will generate this kind of a report. It goes to report. It will come as a report generated successfully. Report has been sent to HPR menu option. Once you do that, once you do the HPR menu, this will come. Here there will be view details. If you click on view details, it will come as please save to download. So then reports get downloaded automatically, and then this report will come in this kind of a format. Once you get this report in format, you copy paste in Excel, and once you copy paste in Excel, you can do a delimitation and you can get a report in Excel. Similarly, this is for HAC LHI. So in case of a HAC LHI, this is about the limit history. So limits are limit level user ID correction has been done. Then you will get this report. If we'll talk about which are the limit available. Then there is a report of HLOP. This is very important, which gives details of whole position of that account. Then there is a report called HSL INQ. This gives the whole position, or rather interest inquiry. This is inquiry. So it gives the statement of account, and this you can just copy paste in Excel. These statements get copy pasted in Excel. So when we talk about CAD, which CADs you can use? So there are various CADs which are available in the open office kind of a software where you need not pay, but I understand our institute has a kind of a what we can say agreement with IDEA, where the IDEA tool has been provided at the lower cost, one license, let's say some 50,000 or 60,000 rupees. That tool is very useful, and what we have observed that tool is not only useful for the bank branch audit, that tool is also useful when we conduct our regular tax audit or company audit. So when we use that tool initially, what used to happen, we started using it around 15 years back in 2000, way back in 2008, 9, 10. And that time it was very difficult because we don't have ChatGPT kind of a solution with our hand. So it used to, first time to set up a NPA formula in that tool, it took 2 days. After various iterations, we could set up the formula. And once you set up the formula, that formula cannot be kind of a what we can say perpetual, because what happens that the banks or NBFC keep on changing their data structure. So every time you have to go back, test the formula on the new report they have generated or new data they have generated, and again kind of apply that formula again. It will take every time 2 days. So over the period we could do it within a day, within half a day. But with ChatGPT kind of a tool, it can be done within few seconds. So we should use this software which are available. Only my kind of a disclaimer is that, or my caution warning is that when we are using it, we should not share the data of the borrower or data of any customer, whether it is depositors or a borrower. And at the same time, when we apply to SAP, it is possible. We have generated certain reports from SAP that also can gives it gives kind of SQL queries which can be shown or thrown or hit in the SAP database or Oracle database, which will give. But the table or data which we have, the whole, when we talk about smart audit, 3 things come in play. One is the control at the branch level. So control at the branch level has to be good or effective and efficient, what we talk typically in IFCO-IFR language. And those who are actually certifying the internal financial control at the branch level also, because only few branches get selected. So when you get appointment letter, you have to check whether you have been asked to certify IFCO-IFR. Control at the branch level you have to check is at the system also. We normally check कि sanction हुआ है कि नहीं, 2 लोगों ने voucher approve किया है कि नहीं, and all those things. But that is now everywhere in the banks. Rather, when I started audit, there used to be vouchers of different colors. one is a blue, one means I don't remember, I have done it for 1 year only. After that, most of the things are CBS. So one is a blue. So my senior articles should tell me that तुम्हारा life काफ़ी आसान है CBS में, नहीं तो हमारे plus एक blue voucher होता था, कोई transfer का कुछ pink kind of a voucher होता था. Those who are seniors must have seen those kind of a vouchers. Those days have gone. Now everything is in the system. So, and rather after few days, the way GPay and VIM is coming up or RTGS is coming up, the voucher bunching itself will go away. No customer need to come to the branch to do a RTGS. He has an internet banking facility available. So if he has to do transaction, maybe up to 10 crore he can do through internet banking based on his facility available. If he has to go beyond, then he has to come to the branch, submit check and request letter to do a RTGS. So, and as cash will go or reduce out of the system, then automatically everything will become technology. And you can imagine how much transaction or volume of transactions which NPCI is handling today. It is last year there was a data that 35,000 crores of rupees of transactions have been handled to the transaction banking, that is BHIM and UPI. Means combined all GPay and all those things. So when that kind of a volume, 35,000 crores, and today it might have crossed 1 lakh crore also. If that kind of a volume of transactions are happening through the technology, we cannot say that we cannot do audit without technology. We have to brace with the technology and update our technology accordingly. So what we can do when maintaining confidentiality is that we can use the maximum technological advantages. So first thing is that whether internal controls at the branch are effective and efficient. जो मैंने पहले बोला कि यूज़र आईडी कौन साइन कर रहा है, यूज़र आईडी अगर है, अगर वो कोई छुट्टी पे गया है, उसका यूज़र आईडी वो किसी को दे के नहीं गया ना, हाँ ठीक है मैं 2 दिन के लिए जा रहा हूँ, but you can use officer. Actually certain challenges are there, I will not say no, like there are certain branches which are in rural region, maybe most of the branches are of SBI or UBI or Bank of India, large branch, where in rural region there is only one officer and there is one clerk. I have seen those branches. In that case, there is no other officer who is there to authorize transaction which needs to be authorized by the officer. So officer enters the transaction, then he calls his friend. So someone is sitting in Ratnagiri, calls someone of his friend in sitting in Bhagalpur, और उसको फ़ोन करके बोलता I have seen this transaction, I have actually put up it to audit committee कि बॉस वो मैंने एक ट्रांजेक्शन किया उसको जरा अप्रूव कर देना. वो वहाँ पे कुछ देखता नहीं है, वो ट्रांजेक्शन अप्रूव कर देता है. And because of that, that person could actually encash FDs of certain senior citizens. Because उसने भी कुछ देखा नहीं, इसने भी कुछ देखा नहीं, FDs encash हो गया, उसने खुद के किसी फ्रेंड के अकाउंट में वो ट्रांसफ़र कर लिया and he could take out the money. Now this is we talk, we always take कि Finacle में कोई भी और Flexcube में कोई भी जा नहीं सकता without maker checker, but this is the actual failure of maker checker when you are allowing someone else to approve the transaction. So we need to check. अगर ऐसा चैलेंज है तो उनको बोला SOP क्या है आपका. अगर आपके यहाँ एक ही ऑफिसर है तो कौन, which branch is other branch or other 2-3 branches which are allowed to approve a transaction, or you are approving certain transaction of some other branches, what is the SOP. So actually they should take the voucher on scan or email, see that voucher, and then only they are supposed to approve. So you check, if you doesn't found this kind of SOP available and someone outside the branch is approving the transaction, सैम्पल बेसिस पे यूज़र आईडीज़ ले लेना कि जिसने ट्रांजेक्शंस अप्रूव किए जो रेगुलर ट्रांजेक्शन, एंड इफ़ यू फाइंड समथिंग यू रिपोर्ट इन योर इफको एफआर रिपोर्ट एंड LFAR. दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सी प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना, वी नो LFAR, वी नो मेन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, बट वी समहाउ व्हेन वी आर सर्टिफाइंग इफको एफआर रिपोर्ट एट द ब्रांच लेवल वी आर लीनियंट. हाँ ये तो HO लेवल के ऑडिटर का काम है, उसके साथ एक RCM भी ब्रांच ने दिया हुआ है, वो भी कोई देखता नहीं है. दैट RCM ऑल्सो हैज सर्टन मेकर चेकर रिलेटेड कंट्रोल्स. So please go through that RCM which is given when you are certifying IFCO FR report also at the branch level. If there are any control related to the system, we need to check those controls. Then second is the data correctness. See, whatever application of analytical tool we do, that will not throw good result unless your data is incorrect. Now if you find your data is incorrect, that means maker checker है पर वो fail हो गया. Because if you know, we have to certify in our company also adequacy and efficiency of the internal financial control. So अगर maker checker है फिर भी data incorrect आ रहा है, that shows that the maker checker is failed. So you can report in IFCO FR. And when your data is correct, apply this tool, I can guarantee you it will reduce your time by a couple of days of auditing. We have applied this tool in our office for bank branch audit. Though we are doing a statutory central audit, we are also doing bank branch audits. There are transactions happening at very large value when you are doing an audit of a top 20 branches. And it is not possible to analyze that because in certain branches are mixed branches with retail and wholesale, corporate banking both. So corporate banking तो हम लोग आप लोग एक फाइल देख सकते हैं, फाइल्स होता है 10-12 फाइल्स होता है. But when you go to a retail branch, it is impossible for you to see a file. और कुछ तो इसमें जो फाइल होता है वो CPC में रहता है, तो आपको वो वहाँ जाके देखना पड़ता है. तो ब्रांच में CPC जाने पहले आप क्या करोगे? So CPC में आप बताओगे कैसे कौन से अकाउंट जाके देखना है. There you can use these tools. So your sampling will be lesser when you go to CPC, and you can check कि क्या हो रहा है. So and whether this is coming out of kind of a blue कि ऐसा कर दिया तो मेरा पूरा audit होगा, ऐसा नहीं है. We have to stick with our kind of basic auditing methodology. And these are the experiments which and these are evolutionary mechanism which we all are doing. So it's not like कि आज मैंने कुछ बताया तो यही final है. When you will do your audit, you will realize कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं है formula. This formula should have been like this. So and I am telling you that sometimes what happens that in case of small clients or mid-sized clients also, we can use our formula and we can reduce our work. Tax audit में related party निकलने के लिए हम लोग कितना ये करते हैं, वो टैली में जाके हर एक लेजर अकाउंट को स्क्रूटनी करते हैं, फिर वो डालते हैं कि वो रिलेटेड पार्टी है कि नहीं देखते हैं. सो इफ़ वी कुड जनरेट अ रिपोर्ट फ्रॉम द टैली एंड दैट इज़ पॉसिबल, देन तुम्हारा एक अनेक्सर इजीली रेडी हो जाता है 40A का इन टाइम व्हेन वी जनरेट अ क्लॉज 40 का टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट. So similarly, if we start with sitting each and every clause of tax audit, we can actually work out what kind of a report we can get from tally. And you request client to give those reports, or you can even generate those reports from tally. So similarly, we sat together, we have brainstorm LFR लेके बैठे कि ये कौन से report branch में available हो सकते हैं. We then went back which reports are available. Then we constructed the menus which could be there in Finacle or FlexCube, and once we get the report, how we can analyze, for that we use ChatGPT or IDEA. So technology is there, we have to use it, and we cannot shy away from the technology. On this note, I'm very thankful for your patient hearing, and I know for last couple of days you are hearing lot of lectures from everyone, so I thought that I should wrap it up fast, because it is technology and we are talking about reducing the days of the audit. And if I and again talk about another half an hour on the how to use technology, then it will be not justifiable for this kind of a lecture only. So thank you very much. Thanks.
No, indeed, I would say it was really an insightful session. I believe each one of us has lot to take from this. Although we all are aware that ChatGPT and many AI tools we can use, but how to use it and on what parameters we should search and take inputs from these tools. So Sir has actually given us enlightenment on these areas, what areas we should look at it while using ChatGPT, or relevant reports from Finacle, FlexCube, while doing the audits of these areas relating to advances, recoveries, NPAs. There's so many things. So on behalf of WRC and all the members present here, I would present a vote of thanks and request each one of you again to give a big round of applause for us all. With this, we end our session for today, and thanks for being a very participative, engaging audience.